Coming up on Citrus TV News live at 6, a sweet bracket-busting victory. SU men's basketball team is headed to the Sweet 16. We'll tell you everything you need to know before the team takes on an old rival.
Staying active just got a whole lot easier for students living on Mount Olympus. We'll take a look at SU's newest fitness center.
And New Yorkers are protesting the death of a dog on a United Airlines flight. What legislation they are proposing to protect animals. Citrus TV News starts right now.
Now, Citrus TV News live at 6 starts with breaking news.
Breaking news tonight, an American college student is dead after going missing in Bermuda. Police found Mark Dombrowski's body in a wooded area this afternoon. Good evening, I'm Mike Riccardi.
And I'm Elissa Candiotti. The 19-year-old St. Joseph's University student was in Bermuda for a trip with his college rugby team. He was last seen leaving a bar and was declared missing just after 1 a.m. on Sunday. Police do not know the cause of his death just yet.
Citrus TV News will keep you updated on this developing story.
The SU men's basketball team is still dancing after a stunning victory over Michigan State University yesterday.
That's right. 11th seed SU beat 3rd seed Michigan State 55-53 to advance to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA Tournament. Now on Friday, the team will take on an old rival in Omaha, the Duke Blue Devils.
All right, this is going to be a crazy one. Citrus TV sports anchor Adam Unger is here to tell us the latest.
I don't know about you guys, but my bracket completely busted. I did not have faith in the Cuse. I did have them beating TCU, but not Michigan State. Adam, how did they get to this point?
Well, my bracket is also an absolute wreck because I didn't even have Syracuse beating TCU. TCU is a very good team, and they had a familiar foe in Jamie Dixon. He was the coach of Pitt for quite some time, and Jamie Dixon had the Orange's number. He was 15-6 while he was at Pitt, but he couldn't get it done because that 2-3 zone that Syracuse runs is something that a lot of teams around the country just don't see. So that is a huge advantage that the Oranges had, and they've played it to their advantage, winning 3 games in just 5 days.
So with that, what are the chances that Syracuse can really pull out a win over Duke on Friday?
Well, that 2-3 zone is the advantage, and it's something that Duke has seen before, so it's not as much of an advantage. However, in the regular season, when they did play, number one, it was in Cameron Indoor, not at a neutral site in Omaha, Nebraska, no less. Number two, Syracuse also held Duke to only 60 points, and that's an offense that puts up almost 85, if not more than that, per game. So if Syracuse can get the same production out of Marek Dolezaj that they got on Friday against TCU, they might have a shot.
All right, Adam Unger, thanks so much.
No
Go
problem.
Orange. See you in a bit.
Go Orange.
See you in a bit.
The Student Association is sponsoring buses for students who want to go to the March for Our Lives in D.C. on Saturday. The march was organized by students who survived the mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School just last month. Protesters are calling for an end to gun violence. Bus tickets are $5 and can be bought at the box office. The Maxwell School and the School of Architecture will host an interdisciplinary symposium on the I-81 highway. The symposium hopes to shed light on the pros and cons of renovating and rerouting the I-81 from an urban design and public policy point of view. The forum is part of the Future Infrastructure series. The event will be held on March 22nd from 4 to 6 in Slocum Hall Auditorium. The Student Association and University College have teamed up to help the rescue mission through a collection drive. Starting today, students can drop off toiletries at boxes around campus. Items needed include deodorant, razors, shaving cream, and soap. This drive is also part of Orange Forever Week and SA Spring Into Action campaign. The drive runs through March 30th.
Students living in Flint and Day halls now have a new place to exercise. Citrus TV reporter Zachary Levine is live on the mountain with details about the new facility. Zach?
Well, the new facility, which opened here today, obviously just hours ago, is part of the Invest Syracuse initiative and will be open 7 days a week. Now, the hours differ on the weekend and during the weekdays. Monday through Friday, they'll be open from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. The gym includes cardio equipment, weight machines, dumbbells, and other training stations. Earlier, we had a chance to catch up with a student to get his thoughts on the new facility.
Well, I live in Day, so especially when it was like a blizzard outside, if I wanted to work out, I'd have to go all the way down to the women's building now, which was, you know, it was walkable, but this is inside the building. So like I plan on coming like pretty much every day now, whereas it was like a once or twice a week thing.
while other campus framework projects that are ongoing or newly completed, for example, include the gender-neutral bathrooms in the Hall of Languages on the first floor that are open now, as well as the masonry repair project, of course, that has so much scaffolding on Krause College, guys.
Thanks, Zachary. And renowned disability studies scholar Susan Schweck is coming to the SU Humanities Center for several lectures, discussions, and seminars. Schweck is the 2018 Jeanette K. Watson Distinguished Visiting Professor in the Humanities. As this spring's Watson Professor, Schweck will work and study ideas regarding disability, gender and sexuality, and disciplinary violence. She will be here from March 19th to the 30th. And comedian Chelsea Handler will be in Syracuse on April 5th to host the latest episode of Get With the Times. University Union is collaborating with the New York Times to bring the talk show to Syracuse. It will be broadcasted to college watch parties across the country. Handler is expected to speak about gender equality and women's rights. The event is on April 5th at 5 o'clock. $5 tickets will go on sale March 21st.
An unexpected candidate has joined the race for governor of New York. Sex and the City actress Cynthia Nixon announced via Twitter that she is running for governor. She launched a progressive campaign that will challenge current Governor Cuomo in the Democratic primary. Former Syracuse Mayor Stephanie Miner is also considering whether she will enter the race. 16-year-old Lamar Murray has been charged with the shooting death of 18-year-old Jaquan Moore. The murder was a part of a dispute between Syracuse's Richmond Zoo and 18th Street gangs. Murray faces 25 years to life in prison if he is convicted. Although he is 16 years old, he's considered an adult under New York criminal law. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is in Syracuse today to meet with local officials and business owners on Trump's tax measures. Schumer is traveling to cities across the county to shed light on the negative impacts the GOP tax breaks may have on families. Schumer spoke at Syracuse City Hall this morning before meeting with Mayor Ben Walsh.
A New York City firefighter who evacuated hundreds from Ground Zero on 9/11 has died. Thomas Phelan passed away on Friday after a battle with cancer. Phelan was a ferry captain in the city at the time of the attacks and was credited with ferrying survivors out of Lower Manhattan. Phelan is the latest in a string of deaths linked to carcinogens present at the World Trade Center site. He was 45. And 2 FDNY firefighters were among the dead in a military helicopter crash in Iraq. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio says Fire Lieutenant Christopher Raguso and Fire Marshal Christopher Zanettis were killed in the crash last Thursday. The helicopter went down near Qiem, Iraq. 5 other servicemen were killed in the crash. Investigators are still trying to determine the cause of the crash, but say that enemy fire was not a factor.
We want justice for Coquito! We want justice for Coquito!
Protesters in New York City are demanding justice for a dog who died on a United Airlines flight after being placed in an overhead bin. The dog-in was held on Saturday at LaGuardia Airport, where the dog Coquito was found dead. Protesters presented legislation to create a pet passenger bill of rights to protect animals on flights. United said the dog's death was a tragic accident. And New York City celebrated their 257th annual St. Patrick's Day parade on Saturday. Governor Cuomo opened the parade by calling it a day of inclusion for all Irish immigrants. Nearly 150,000 people marched a 1.4-mile parade route past Central Park and St. Patrick's Cathedral. Mayor de Blasio also celebrated Irish culture and marched alongside Irish police officers.
Well, Elissa, tomorrow is officially the first day of spring, but I got to tell you, if you were walking around Syracuse today, you probably wouldn't believe it.
I'm telling you, at least coming after spring break, this is not the weather I want to expect.
Absolutely
what can
not.
we do? Let's check in now with Jenna Babyak for a look at the weather this week.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, whether you're a student who went somewhere south like Florida or you just went home somewhere nearby, I think we can all agree we didn't really miss this cold. But luckily for us, it was pretty sunny today, about 29 degrees, mostly sunny, winds coming in a bit quick, but pretty sunny today, pretty cold. And then looking at the past sun radar, it was pretty sunny throughout the whole area in Syracuse, all the surrounding areas. Really sunny skies, but really deceiving because it was still pretty cold today. Thanks, guys. I'll have your full weather forecast coming up later in the show.
Coming up, another explosion in Austin leads authorities to hunt for a possible serial bomber. The latest details next.
And Vladimir Putin secures an overwhelming victory in the Russian presidential elections, but many protest the results as illegitimate. That story and more when we return.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
What are you, superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city.
Gear up, guys.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
Uber has suspended tests on its fleet of self-driving cars after a fatal accident involving a pedestrian. Earlier today, a woman in Tempe, Arizona was struck and killed while crossing the street outside of marked crosswalks.
Though the car had a human operator at the wheel, he was not controlling the vehicle at the time. Uber says that it is cooperating with authorities and offered its condolences to the family. This is the first case of a pedestrian death involving a driverless vehicle. And Facebook is investigating how user data was exploited by Cambridge Analytica, a data firm that worked for President Trump's election campaign. The New York Times reports the firm collected information from 50 million users through a personality quiz.
Facebook has suspended the firm and is making sure all the data has been deleted. Meanwhile, people are once again questioning the social media site's role in the U.S. election. President Trump unveiled plans to combat the opioid crisis today. He spoke on his administration's plan during a speech in New Hampshire.
The White House's plan focuses on stronger law enforcement, including lower thresholds for mandatory minimum sentences for drug possession. Trump even called for the use of the death penalty in some cases of drug trafficking. And local authorities in Austin, Texas are now dealing with what they believe to be a serial bomber after a fourth bomb exploded last night. 3 of the bombs were stuffed into packages and left on front doorsteps earlier this month.
The latest blast went off last night just after 8:30. The bomb was triggered by a tripwire in a neighborhood in the southwest part of the city. 2 people have died from these explosions.
And we hope this person or persons is watching and will reach out to us before anyone else is injured or anyone else is killed out of this event. These events in Austin have garnered worldwide attention, and we assure you that we are listening.
Police believe the suspect is trying to send a message. They are urging citizens to stay alert and aware and say if they see a suspicious object or package to stay away from it and call police.
President Vladimir Putin will remain in power after winning re-election in Russia yesterday. 7 other candidates were on the ballot, but it was always a race, a one-man race.
Here with details on the election victory and the campaign leading up to it is Citrus TV political analyst Gilat Melamed. Gilat?
6 more years. That's the story in Russia today after President Vladimir Putin wins re-election in an overwhelming landslide. It was a given that Putin would win. He's been the face of Russian politics since taking office in 2000 and boasted an approval rating around 80% heading into the election. The leader of the Kremlin helped ensure his victory in an arguably corrupt fashion. A few months ago, Russian courts convicted Putin's biggest opposition candidate, Alexei Navalny, of controversial financial crimes. Navalny's convictions made him ineligible to run, making Putin's path to victory even easier. The Kremlin's election platform was less about policy and more about a victory goal called 70 at 70, 70% of the vote and 70% voter turnout. Putin exceeded the first part, receiving nearly 77% of the vote, and came close to the second part. Voter turnout was 67%. Russia's longest-serving leader since Joseph Stalin will continue to rule until 2024, when he is forced to step down. Russia's constitution does not allow a president to run for more than 2 consecutive terms, though Putin already found a loophole once, swapping places with his prime minister for 4 years to break up his presidential terms. However, he says he won't change the constitution to allow him to stay in power for a 3rd consecutive term. Putin's victory comes in the midst of FBI investigations into the Trump administration's potential collusion with Russia and escalating tensions in Syria, where Russia is one of President Bashar al-Assad's biggest allies.
Coming up after the break, a trial that could change the future of media ownership is underway, while the Justice Department is trying to block the AT&T and Time Warner merger.
And Jenna Babyak will be back in studio to tell you what the weather will be like for the week ahead. Stay tuned.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. It was cold today and it's going to be even colder tonight. Looking at tonight's forecast, it's going to dip down to 17 degrees tonight. Pretty clear skies though. You won't be expecting any rain, any snow, although it is extremely cold and the low is going to be 8 degrees, so it could even get into those single digits tonight. And looking at some of our future wind radar right now, we're seeing some lower speed winds coming through the area right now. Clear skies, but we're definitely seeing some winds coming through. And then looking at your forecast for when you wake up tomorrow, it's going to be extremely cold, 13 degrees. You're definitely going to want to bundle up if you're going to some early classes tomorrow. But luckily, it is going to get warmer throughout the day. It'll be about 35 degrees, partly cloudy. We'll definitely see the sun again tomorrow. And then planning your day tomorrow, it's going to actually be warmest at 5 p.m. It'll be 35 degrees then. It'll dip lower at night, but these warmer temperatures throughout the evening are foreshadowing some of the warmer temperatures throughout the week. Looking at current temperatures throughout the area, pretty consistent with what we're seeing in Syracuse right now, a little warmer down south. And then looking at temperatures for this week, pretty consistent as you can see, 35, 36 every day for our temperatures that we're seeing. Thanks guys, back to you.
Thanks, Jenna. A trial over the AT&T and Time Warner merger is underway. The Justice Department is suing to block the merger between the companies due to antitrust concerns. AT&T announced plans to buy Time Warner in 2016. The Justice Department said the merger could cost consumers an extra $436 million in TV fees per year. The lawsuit signals a major shift in the government's stance on large mergers.
And another retail giant is taking a hit, this time Claire's. The popular jewelry and ear-piercing store filed for bankruptcy this morning. Claire's will still continue to operate their 1,600 stores during the bankruptcy process. They hope to reduce their debt by about $2 billion by the end of September.
And coming up in sports, it's everyone's favorite time of the year. We've got even more on the Orange's big wins from the weekend, plus women's basketball and men's lacrosse results. Don't go anywhere.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Wait, why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome to your Citrus TV Sports Update. I'm Adam Unger, and in case you haven't heard, Syracuse men's basketball is still dancing. The 2-3 zone was able to stifle Jamie Dixon and TCU on Friday. Dixon was 15-6 in his career against the Orange while coaching at Pitt. And the zone has continued to stump tournament teams as the Orange took down Michigan State 55-53 in a nail-biter at Little Caesars Arena. MSU shot just 26% from the field, a far cry from their season average of 50%. But they pulled down 29 offensive rebounds. To put that into perspective, Syracuse had 31 total boards in the game. Tyus Battle led the way for the Orange with 17 points after dropping just 7 against TCU. And Frank Howard had to miss the final 6 minutes after fouling out for just the second time this season. Head coach Jim Boeheim applauded his team's efforts after the victory.
Great effort. I'm really, it is very tough to play 3 games in 5 days at this level against the physicality. You know, we knew they were going to get us on the boards. They really got us on the boards. But these guys just battled the whole game. I'm very proud of them.
Coach Q and company went dancing as well, but they had to travel a bit further. The 8th-seeded Orange was in Starkville, Mississippi to take on Oklahoma State, with the winner supposed to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs tonight. But the Orange couldn't rise to the occasion. The Cowgirls came out on top 84-57, thanks in part to a lopsided third quarter. SU was outscored 27-9 during that stretch. 25 three-pointers were sunk by both teams, and OK State's Jaden Hobbs hit 8 of them alone. The redshirt freshman lit it up from behind the arc. She only missed 1 all game long. This marks the end of the road for the Orange, but Coach Q is expected to get back all 5 starters next season. And it seemed like all of the Syracuse sports teams were away from the Hill this weekend. Syracuse men's lacrosse was in Piscataway, New Jersey for the first time since the days of the old Big East, where number 16 Rutgers awaited the Orange. And there were some handshakes early on, but make no mistake, this one would be a battle, and the Orange would strike first. 12:44 left in the first quarter. Stephen Rayfius from behind the X rolls back, left hand, count it. 1-0 Syracuse at that point. Now let's go ahead to the middle of the second quarter. It's tied up at 4. Rutgers with the man up. One of the best players in the nation, Jules Henningberg, scores on the man up right on the doorstep. Rutgers led 5-4 at that point. It was 5-5 at halftime. Early third quarter, wacky sequence here. Nate Solomon finds the ground ball and scores. It was 8-7 Syracuse, and that was the last lead that Syracuse would have. Just a minute later, Henningberg, again, beats Brett Kennedy to the edge, turns around and just rips for 9-8. He had 6 goals on the day, and there would just be no looking back for the Scarlet Knights. Just for good measure, Tommy Coyne feeds the middle. Christian Mazzone was able to put it home. The final score was 14-10 in favor of Rutgers, and head coach John Desko says that the Orange just has to get back to playing its own game.
So we're just going to go back to the drawing board. This is a short week. We're playing Duke. It might not matter who we're playing if we're not going to take care of business ourselves. So we just have to be smarter with our decisions that we make, and we have to play better Syracuse lacrosse at both ends of the field.
And tomorrow, the women's lacrosse team takes a short trip to face Cornell. Syracuse is coming off a 20-13 win against Harvard on Friday. Midfielder Sam Swart and attack Emily Harris-Chuck are both bringing in 2-game hat trick streaks. Yeah, you heard that right. First draw is slated for 4:30 p.m.
Now, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure this is just the 11th time in Syracuse history under a John Desko team that the team has lost twice in a row. Now, it's been such an up-and-down season, big wins, horrible losses. How do they get it figured out from this point?
Well, when you look at the box scores and you look at some of these results from some of these games, you saw that goal from Henningberg earlier. A lot of them are just kind of one-man goals where someone just beats his defender, and that means that the defense isn't really sliding, so they're not really helping each other out in the defensive end, and that's what I think they need to do against teams like Albany and Rutgers and Johns Hopkins to kind of keep those totals down a little bit and get the offense some more possessions. Yeah.
Going off that, how do you like the chances for men's lacrosse this weekend against Duke?
Well, there's a lot of Orange and Blue Devils going on this weekend, but I don't really like the Orange against the Blue Devils in lacrosse. The attack and the midfield don't really match up that well for the Orange.
Thanks,
It'll be a
Adam.
tough one for them. No problems.
Citrus TV News will be back in 90 seconds.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Welcome back, Jenna. Now, I believe that we are above average already in snowfall this year. Do you think we're going to get any more? I sure hope not.
Fortunately, this week, I don't think we're going to be seeing any snow at all. So looking at, the 5-day forecast, we have consistent temperatures all throughout the week. Cloudy all week, some sun, but really no snow to be expected at all.
Well, thank God.
I'm going to hold her to
that. Yeah, we're going to hold you to that and make sure that you're right about that.
Yeah, you definitely won't need a snow jacket or anything.
All right, thanks, Jenna. That's all we have tonight for Citrus TV News Live at 6. I'm Mike Riccardi.
And I'm Elissa Candiotti. Have a great evening, Syracuse.